Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Chill Out podcast. I'm super excited to be hanging out with you guys. So, this morning, I decided I'm going to wake up super early. I'm going to put my alarm in early, go shower, get dressed, all of those things, go and grab an iced matcha, go to the grocery store, and then go for a walk on the beach. And now I'm back home. I am super excited to be hanging out with you. I just decided, look, every weekend I usually tend to stay in bed a little bit longer because I'm so tired from the week, and I just sort of want to treat myself and just be cozy and just relax. Sometimes your body just needs to relax. So I was like, no, today the weather is gorgeous, the sky is blue, the sun is out, and you guys know that's my favorite type of weather. So I was like, you know what? I'm getting up early today and I'm going to make the most of my morning, romanticize it a little bit. And that is exactly what I did. Look, I don't know if this is just part of getting older, but lately I've become slightly obsessed with comfort, not in a lazy way, not in a cancel all my plans and never leave the house type of way. I mean, those tiny comforts, the kind that make a random ordinary Tuesday feel really nice. Because if you've listened to the last few episodes, you'll know that I've been in a little bit of a weird season. And look, there's lots of blessings in my life. I'm super grateful for so many things. But internally, mentally, I've been feeling a little bit weird, okay? Feeling a little bit disconnected, feeling like I was living life but not really into it. And look, I'm sort of making this into a joke because that's usually what I do. I laugh at everything. But you know that feeling when you're just sort of going through the motions of life, okay? You're not really stopping and smelling the roses. You're in a hamster wheel running super fast and there is just no way to get off that hamster wheel, okay? And you just feel super disconnected from yourself. You feel like you're constantly just in autopilot all the time and you just don't know what to do. You feel overwhelmed, but life has become so normalized in a way that feeling slightly off isn't really a big deal, okay, when it should be. You should be checking in with yourself and making sure that, am I feeling okay? Okay, do I need to take a little bit of a break? Do I need to completely just disconnect for a few hours and just sort of go inward and relax a little bit, chill out a little bit, okay? So that feeling of constantly just being on autopilot every day and going through your normal routine and running on that hamster wheel and just trying to get everything done and not really stopping, like I said, and smelling the roses and being more present in life, sometimes that can leave you feeling really disconnected. And I think that's sort of where I've been. I am someone, and I've spoken about this so much, the fact that I have such an unhealthy relationship with productivity. And look, it's really good to have goals and to have purpose and to know what you want to do in life and to wake up every single day and just pump through it and do your best and all of that. But sometimes I feel like you do need to sort of take a step back and kind of take inventory and look at things and be like, maybe I shouldn't go as hard. Okay, maybe I should just take a second for myself and really check in and make sure that I'm actually okay so that I don't end up feeling disconnected from myself and feeling like I'm just sort of going through the motions and not really enjoying my life. That is sort of what inspired this episode because I think I kept waiting for some massive breakthrough. I'd wake up one morning and suddenly I'd be like, okay, I'm back. I feel normal again. I've got my spark back and all of that. And that's just not how it happened. And it wasn't just one big thing. It was honestly about 50 really small things. Tiny habits and tiny comforts and tiny rituals that slowly made me feel like myself again. And it kind of got me thinking, maybe life doesn't actually change through massive moments. Maybe life changes through really ordinary Tuesdays. So today I wanted to share some of the rituals that I've been loving lately, but I also wanted to talk about a few changes I've made recently that have surprisingly made such a big impact on how I feel. Let me just have some of my matcha quick. Yeah, this is going to be a good one, honestly. So good. Let's talk about the least glamorous part. Recently, I've stopped drinking coffee and I've stopped relying on sleeping pills. Now, let me just be clear. This was not some magical overnight transformation. It was actually quite difficult. The first few weeks were very rough. I was tired. I sort of missed that ritual. I questioned my life choices multiple times. But one thing that I've always been quite good at is listening to my body. And for a long time, something really felt off. I had this like constant brain fog, almost like there was a layer between me and the world and I wasn't fully present. I felt slightly disconnected, slightly fuzzy, and I just kept ignoring it because I was functioning, I was fine. And the thing is, I didn't have like an issue with caffeine or with like taking a sleeping pill every night. It was more of like that bad habit that you tend to get into. And I had a friend who actually suggested that I try these sleeping tablets that she would take, right? And she's amazing, honestly. But I needed something at night to sort of take so that my mind would like calm down a little bit and I would actually start to relax and be able to fall asleep and not struggle and lay in bed counting sheep. Actually, I'm not even joking. Like, I really struggled to fall asleep at night. My mind was constantly racing. And looking back, I'll explain a little bit in the episode, but like looking back, I'm like, wait, how did I even get to that point? Because now I can sleep so much better without those things. So it's crazy. But just to give you kind of like a little bit of a backstory, she suggested these sleeping tablets that helped her. And I was like, you know what? It's not like some hectically medicated type of prescription type of thing. It's more like something that you take before bed just to kind of like relax and allow you to like fall asleep. So I was like, you know what, let me try it. And it just ended up being a few months of constantly relying on those things to actually fall asleep instead of my body's own natural rhythm. And it was very hard to kind of like get off those things, because I was relying on it to actually go to sleep at night. And the crazy thing is, because I was drinking so much caffeine, that was one of the reasons why I was struggling to actually calm my mind at night and go to bed. So it's crazy how you assume that it's one thing, but it might just be something so small, like you drinking way too much coffee, and that is why your mind struggles to like rest at night. So I eventually was like, you know what? I need to really stop this. Like, I cannot be relying on these tablets every single night to allow me to fall asleep, but I'm the one that's instigating it by drinking like 3 to 4 cups of coffee every day just to, remain productive and remain on all the time and be able to go through my day. And it sucked because I was so worried that if I actually quit caffeine, I wouldn't be as productive and I would be like struggling every single day and not being able to concentrate and focus and deal with stress and all of those types of things. And that's sort of what like held me back from taking a little bit of a break from it. But I didn't realize, oh my gosh, on the other side of that is pure ecstasy, honestly. Like, you guys don't even understand. I just one day woke up and I was like, I think I'm rather just going to try and like not have a cup of coffee today. And I decided to do it on a weekend when I could sort of have the leeway of not feeling as like awake or productive. And I was like, let me try this on a Saturday because I know that today I can literally just chill. So I don't really need caffeine. Let's see how I feel. I felt totally fine. Like, I slept really good that night. I did not have any of those sleeping pills. And then the next day I decided to try it again. And it sort of just like flowed into the next day and the next day and the next day. And literally in the week, when I started like actually working in the morning, I was like, oh, I don't even really need a cup of coffee. Like, I had some green tea or I had some ginger tea and I was totally fine. I was able to still concentrate and be focused. And I work really long hours. So the fact that I could sustain myself from the morning until the night, and of course, I still feel really tired. Like, I'm not this perfect person. But the fact that I could actually go through my day without having to rely on coffee was just insane. I was so proud of myself and like so happy that I could, because for such a long time I didn't want to quit caffeine because I was so worried that I wouldn't be able to perform my best, which is crazy because there's so many other great natural ways to boost your energy and all of that type of stuff. So once I actually quit caffeine, I was able to not rely on those sleeping pills in order to actually fall asleep at night and like quiet my mind, because I really worked hard during that day and I was productive and I was doing my best. And I was so tired at the end of the day, naturally, that I was able to fall asleep. And in the morning, I woke up perfectly fine. So it's crazy how like one thing and just sort of like removing one thing can really change your life in like a crazy way that I did not even expect it to. So I don't know, like, I just started feeling a lot of brain fog when I was waking up in the morning, and I wasn't really functioning at my highest potential. I feel like I'm still trying to like optimize my life in different ways slowly because I'm not trying to biohack here, okay? I'm just trying to like make sure that I'm able to perform every day at my best and, achieve the goals that I want to achieve. But I was functioning and at like not really a great level for a while. And I thought that I needed caffeine to sort of like survive. After actually removing caffeine, I noticed something interesting. The fog lifted. It's difficult to explain unless you've actually experienced it, but my mind feels so much more clearer. My energy feels a little bit steadier. And without coffee, I've also noticed that I consume way less sugar because suddenly I'm not constantly chasing quick energy throughout the day. It's also not about being anti coffee because I literally love a good cup of coffee, especially iced coffee. Like that is just my jam. I love it so much. I just think sometimes our bodies tell us things if we're willing to listen to it. And yeah, my body was definitely screaming, Kelly, you need a break. It's so crazy as well. Like I would have coffee like about 2-3 cups a day, maybe 4, just depending on like how much I would need to get done. And it's sort of like a ritual for me, okay? I love going to grab coffee and I know it's such a waste of money, but it's an experience, okay? It's about romanticizing your life. And when you spend a lot of time by yourself, it's nice to go and grab a coffee, okay? It's a vibe. So like, don't hate on me. But I would consume a lot of sugar. And it's like 2 sugars every single time. And after I actually decided to not drink caffeine and like remove it, I started noticing my body changing in like a really good way. I wasn't feeling as like puffy as I normally do. My skin didn't feel really like, I don't even know how to describe it. Like my skin just started to feel a little bit better and brighter, and I wasn't consuming as much sugar. And it's crazy because sugar is one of those things that sort of like accelerates the whole aging process. So now that I consume a little bit less sugar, I'm really happy about that as well. I'm not as wired and like constantly on. You know what I mean? I think we spend a lot of time looking for big answers and big goals and big transformations and big breakthroughs. And sometimes we overlook the fact that daily life is mostly made up of small moments. And I think that is what inspired me to start the Ward Method, which is my wellness brand. It's about a lifestyle and a philosophy that is around making small, realistic changes, not constantly, making you feel like you need to be on like a guilt trip because you're not super optimized like this person that you're seeing on Instagram. It's about acknowledging the fact that small changes and small little steps every single day to becoming the best version of yourself, it takes time, it takes consistency, and some days you're not going to feel like doing it. It's about just recognizing that it's about those small moments. It's about those small little ordinary rituals that eventually build up. And if enough of those moments feel good, life starts feeling better too. So instead of making yourself feel terrible because you're not this perfect version of yourself, it's just about focusing on the small moments and those small little habits that after a lot of time eventually start feeling amazing because you're being consistent and you're taking care of yourself. First of all, how comforting is reality TV? Okay, specifically for me, it's The Real Housewives of like Beverly Hills, or I've really been getting into The Valley, which is really fun. Or there's like something else. Wait, I love the Housewives franchise, so it's definitely Beverly Hills, Orange County vibes. I mean, honestly. And obviously the Kardashians, like, let's be real. Please don't hate on me, but honestly, that show is so good. It's just such a comfort show as well, like just playing those old episodes in the background. It's funny, okay? It's entertaining. Sometimes you need to take a little bit of a break from life and just sort of like immerse yourself in those types of worlds and just laugh a little bit, okay? Life is about not taking yourself too seriously. So please don't judge me because I actually love watching the Kardashians. But look, I know this isn't exactly educational content, but there is something deeply comforting about watching people argue over things that have absolutely nothing to do with your life. It's ridiculous, it's dramatic, and it's kind of oddly therapeutic as well. Like my second comfort ritual is solo coffee runs. Well, now it's matcha runs. And there's just something about leaving the house alone in the morning that I absolutely love. No rushing, no phone calls, no notifications, just a quiet moment before the day starts demanding things from you. And that's why, like I was saying before, going out for coffee was always like this ritual for me. It was like this thing that I would do in the mornings. And it was like my time, you know what I mean? Like just to romanticize life a little bit and just enjoy the present moment and actually stop and smell the roses. So now what I do is I just go and grab a matcha because it's kind of the same vibe, you know what I mean? So I will go grab a matcha and then I'll go for a walk. And that's sort of like my thing in the morning. And it's a really nice comfort ritual. I feel like just going to grab coffee by yourself is it's just incredible. It's honestly a total vibe. And sometimes I think that we're so busy trying to optimize every moment that we forget how nice it feels to simply exist somewhere. And the third thing that I really love, that's really comforting for me, is reading 10 pages of a book before bed. Not 50, not an ambitious reading challenge, just 10, because 10 pages feels manageable. And lately, I've been trying to replace scrolling with reading. Okay, it's not really something that I thought that I could do initially, but last year I definitely reevaluated my relationship with social media and I was like, look, I cannot be as active or scrolling the way that I was now, okay, because it's just not something that is healthy for my mind. And I need to also try and disconnect from the internet a little bit sometimes and just sort of like be in the present. And reading is this thing for me that is just insane. And I know that a lot of people feel the same way. It's like, it's not just an escape. It's almost like it's filling your brain with good things, like substance. You know what I mean? Like I was just talking about watching reality TV and trying to like disconnect from life sometimes and just kind of like stepping into someone else's world and entertaining yourself with something that's really mindless, but it's very entertaining and funny. And then you have like books that I love turning to when I'm feeling a little bit disconnected as well, because it's feeding me something good. It's teaching me something. I'm learning something. I feel like I'm feeding my brain with something that's positive and good. So sometimes it is really hard because I want to read every single night. And I have so many books that I've started and I'm still like halfway in it. And what I'll do now is I'll just like tell myself, okay, Kelly, just 10 pages every single day. That's it. Because I love reading, but sometimes I'm really, really tired and I don't have the capacity to lay down and read. So just by telling yourself that I'm just going to read 2 pages today, I'm just going to read 5 pages, it sort of like sets the tone and doesn't add any extra pressure to doing something that you actually love. So yeah, reading something definitely that I love. And every time that I do it, I just remember how calm my evenings feel and my afternoons. And last week Sunday, it was so beautiful outside. And I just decided to like lay on the couch and I could like see the sky and it was beautiful. Like the sunlight was just coming inside my apartment and I was reading my book and just chilling. And that was a total vibe for me. That's just something that I really love to do. And I was just thinking to myself, I feel so blessed right now. I feel so grateful for this moment because I feel really calm. And I feel like I'm doing something for myself that feels really good. And my brain feels really good and happy. It's less noisy, less stimulated. I had like Thames playing in the background. So it was just a total vibe, like very, very zen. My next comfort ritual is matcha on the couch before bed. I know this sounds oddly specific, but my friend Taylor really got me into starting to do Sudoku again. So I went and I bought one of those Sudoku workbooks. And I remember as a kid, I used to love doing Sudoku. So now what I do is I make myself a cup of matcha and I either put something on in the background, something like comforting, like a comfort show or whatever. And then I will chill on the couch, play some Sudoku and have some matcha. If I'm feeling really fancy, I'm definitely putting a face mask on as well. I'm going to shower, I'm putting my hair back in like a slick, lazy girl bun, and I'm putting a really nice mask on. I'm sipping that hot matcha, and I am playing Sudoku, or I'm just like chilling and watching a really good movie. Lately, I told you guys I'm into Smallville, okay? Tom Welling is one of the most... Damn, he is so hot, honestly. It's like... It should actually be illegal for someone to be that attractive. No jokes. But I would love to just like chill on the couch, either with a book, a face mask, some matcha, or playing Sudoku and yeah, just watching like a really comforting movie. It's probably going to be an Adam Sandler movie, I'm not going to lie. It's sort of like become like a little bit of a signal to my nervous system and a way of saying, okay, we're slowing down now. And I think that's something I've needed a lot recently. More intentional type of transitions, more moments that separate the busyness of the day from actual rest. And finally, I love just putting a candle on, especially a scented candle. I just got a humidifier, so I love putting that like eucalyptus essential oils and just like having that as a vibe. And it's really cold at night now, so I got a heater and that is blasting at night. So I'm really like cozy and warm and all of that. And I'm just like romanticizing it. It's almost like there's a fireplace going on, and my humidifier is going to town as well, like, with that eucalyptus vibe. So I'm just feeling really calm. The lighting is really low. There's a candle. Just maximum coziness. Okay, we're maxing, we're cozy maxing with this episode for sure. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassing. But I honestly think atmosphere matters more than we give it credit for. Lighting a candle obviously does not solve all your problems. Reality TV is not going to solve all your problems, but you sometimes need to just step away a little bit and just vibe out, honestly, and just cozy max. I think what all of these rituals have in common is that they bring me back to myself. And lately I've realized that's something I've really been craving. Not more productivity, not more optimization, not more self-improvement, just more connection, to myself and to my body and to my actual life. Because I think sometimes we accidentally build routines that help us get through life, but not necessarily enjoy it. They are reminders that life is happening right now, not someday when everything is all figured out. And I just think that it's so crazy how me quitting caffeine, literally, I literally wrote like a blog post about quitting caffeine for 22 days, but it's been way longer than 22 days now. I think I'm almost on like a month. And it's so crazy how one day I decided, you know what, I'm just not going to have caffeine today. And then it sort of like just flowed into whatever. And it was now, I think it's like a month now. And that sort of changed everything. Okay. I just feel way better, which is crazy. Obviously, I do feel really tired sometimes and overwhelmed and stressed like any normal person would. I don't feel as overwhelmed or that overly stimulated as I felt when I was drinking that much caffeine. And it's so crazy, me just literally being like, I'm not going to drink coffee and I'm just going to like give it up for a little bit and see how I feel. And that ended up in me not needing to rely on sleeping pills to fall asleep at night anymore. That sounds like so bad. Like, Kelly, why were you like having sleeping pills? It sounds so bad, but it's not as bad as it sounds. Or maybe it was. Okay. It should not be like that. Okay. You should not be relying on stuff. But I was, and it's so crazy that I literally decided not to drink coffee, and that meant not having those sleeping pills. And now I can actually fall asleep naturally, which is amazing, because for a very long time I definitely felt really guilty because I knew that having those sleeping pills every night was not natural. It was not good for my brain. It was not good for me. But sometimes you're just in that like I said, that autopilot of life where you just sort of just want to get through the day and do the best that you can, and you're not really taking a second to be like, is this actually good for me? Is this really what I need? And usually the answer is no, and you should look at things that aren't that great for you. And I just think that the one thing that I learned is that in order to really change your life and to be the best version of yourself, which is not going to be every day, by the way, you're not going to feel your best every single day. That's just the reality of it. But every single day, if you choose to just constantly get up, show up, and do something good for yourself, your life is going to improve. So if you're someone who has been considering taking a coffee break and you are really just over it, like you just feel overly stimulated, wired, and you just don't feel like yourself. You feel super stressed out and you just want to take a little bit of a break, but you're afraid that you won't be as productive. I want to share a few things that have actually given me energy without needing 4 or 5 cups of coffee every single day. And I mean the kind of energy where you feel clearer and lighter and more connected to yourself, the kind where you suddenly want to clean your room, make plans, create things, and actually participate in your own life again. So these are a few things that have quietly brought my energy back. So the first one is like movement, but not the intimidating kind, okay? The non-intimidating kind. And these are a few things that I've written down with the way that I remember that actually helped me, and it's really, really small, realistic things, so don't worry. But I've noticed my energy drops fast when I'm too stagnant, okay? When I'm not doing anything, when I'm not moving. Not because I need like a hardcore workout, but because my body needs movement. Stretching in the morning, or doing a bar workout, or yoga, or walking, a quick workout. dancing while getting ready, nothing dramatic, just moving enough to remind my body that we are still alive, like we're still here, okay, we're still functioning. And somehow, even when it's the last thing I feel like doing, I almost always feel better after. And I've noticed a lot of people say this. Sometimes you are dreading to work out, you're dreading to go to the gym, but as soon as you get moving and you finish that workout, you feel amazing and you start actually becoming addicted to that feeling. That's literally what happened to me. I started feeling so good after working out that I was like, wait, I need to get this energy again and this feeling back again. The next thing is sunlight. This is underrated. It's free and it's weirdly powerful. Okay, a little morning sun, sitting outside with a coffee or a matcha or even like a decaf, whatever your vibe is. Walking in fresh air, small things like this. Okay, but they shift your mood so quickly. They just make you feel good. Like I said, when you are romanticizing your life, you just feel, wow, like I'm just vibing out right now, okay? Nothing can touch me. In this moment right now, in this 5 minutes of my life, I feel good. And that's all that matters. And I think we underestimate how much time we spend indoors under artificial light, staring at our screens all the time. Sunlight sort of feels like a reset button. It's very simple, but it's very effective. And it feels so good. Like I love the sun. Love the sun. The next thing is nature, because my nervous system apparently needs trees. Like beach walks and fresh air and ocean sounds and grass and mountains. Even just sitting outside for 10 minutes on my balcony does wonders. It's amazing. Nature does something to your brain that scrolling absolutely cannot. And it sort of like slows everything down, and not in like a deep spiritual woo-woo type of way necessarily, just in a very human way. Like your body remembers that it wasn't designed to only exist between notifications and indoor lighting. Literally. There's just something about being in nature that is incredible. It's also like a reset button for your soul. You just feel lighter. And I've said this before, but if you look at the mountains or you look at the ocean, there's something about it that humbles you in the best way possible. It's so big, it's so powerful, it's just so healing, and I just love it. The last thing that I wrote down is definitely journaling, because it really helps when my brain feels loud. And I'm speaking from experience. I've literally been journaling since I was like 16 years old, and it's always been something that I love to do. Sometimes you just need to write down things that are going on in your brain or like how you're feeling. Sometimes it's good just to like write things down and sort of like release anything that's bothering you, or, you know, how you're feeling, and kind of just like putting it on that page, especially if you don't really have anyone in your life that you can confide in and talk to about things that you're experiencing or struggling with. And sometimes your journal is your best friend, and it's something that you can rely on because it's allowing you to self-regulate your emotions. You're not holding on to things and, you know, keeping everything inside. You have that outlet that's free. Like obviously you have to buy the book, but I mean, you can also write on your phone as well. But it's just like a nice way to like self-regulate your emotions, calm yourself down, dump all of those like negative thoughts on a page and release it, understand why you're feeling a certain type of way. It's just amazing, especially when your brain feels really loud. And I don't journal because I'm some incredibly organized or emotionally evolved person. I'm not perfect at all. I journal because sometimes my brain and my thoughts feel crowded, and writing things down helps me see what's actually happening instead of carrying everything around mentally. And that's why I love things like painting or writing poetry and stuff like that, because it's such a great way to express yourself. It's a great way for you to sort of not think so much and be so much in your head. You're sort of in that moment. You are focusing on, you know, the strokes of the paintbrush or what is coming through you in terms of like the words that you want to put down on your page to express yourself in that poem. It's just a great way to like regulate your emotions in a healthy way. And I just love stuff like writing. Honestly, it's definitely something that has saved my life so much. And it's really reflective. Sometimes you could do like a really messy brain dump. And I think either way, it creates space. And honestly, feeling lighter mentally often gives me more energy physically too. When you're not constantly holding on to those negative thoughts, you're able to actually be more present in your life instead of like worrying about nonsense and all of that type of stuff. So I really hope that these little habits that have helped me will help you, and definitely try them out. Let me know as well, like pop me a DM and all of that. maybe energy is way simpler than we think. Maybe it's not always about doing more. Maybe sometimes it's movement and sunlight and fresh air and a notebook and getting out of your own head for a minute. Small things, but surprisingly powerful ones. It's so crazy how I accidentally started enjoying my life again. And it's so crazy how literally quitting coffee was one of those things that really propelled me to actually be like, wait, I feel good, and I feel good every single day, but I'm starting to really feel more present and sort of feel good again in a way, which is crazy. So, oh my gosh, so funny. Thank you so much for listening. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this episode. As always, I love hanging out with you. Okay, you are the best. I hope you guys have an amazing week. Have the best day as well, okay? And I'll chat to you guys in the next episode. Bye.